Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you all have joined from. Welcome to Chennai Storytelling Festival's 13th edition of Storytelling Festival. This is Banumathy here. I feel so delighted to be here because this is my 13th year in storytelling as well. So thanks to Dr. Eric Miller, my mentor, my guru, my first storytelling teacher. Thank you, Eric, for bringing us here all together. And as I told, I've been into storytelling. I was introduced to storytelling by Eric, and I've been telling stories to children, adults, for all occasions. I also train teachers and adults and aspiring storytellers. And Tables and Tales, as you see behind me, is my baby, my storytelling concern, through which I conduct storytelling workshops and sessions. Having said that, welcome to the workshop on RRR. Reflect, recall, reconnect to stories through pre and post storytelling activities. So before we move on into the workshop, I would like to know who you are, where are you from, and why have you, or what are you looking for in this workshop? Please unmute yourself and kindly introduce. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
We can see your screen share and we can see you, but the people who, even if you have your camera turned off, you can say hello. You can introduce yourself if you like.
That's right.
Those of us who have our cameras turned on, even though we're not visible now, we can also say hello. So I am Eric, and I'm especially interested in activities before and after storytelling. So I'm so grateful for this workshop.
Thank you, Eric. Welcome to the workshop.
Hi, Banu. Talita
Hi,
here.
Banu.
Yes, Lalita.
And as Eric says, I'm also very much interested in knowing about the activities before the story, after the story, and I'm looking forward to the workshop.
Great. Welcome. Hi, Shilpa.
Hi, Banu. I'm Shilpa from Jaipur, and because I deal with children, so I'm looking for activities which I can conduct after my session. Looking
Great.
forward to it. Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi, Bhanu. I'm also from Jaipur. I'm Amrita, and I also feel it's telling a story should have some pre and post activity or to connect with and resonate. So I'm really looking forward to your session.
Hi, Amrita. Welcome. So also, if you could add to your intro, what is the age group that you're dealing with? That would help us to, we are going to deal both children and adult activities, but please let me know what is that you're specifically looking for. Yes, Indra, ma'am.
Well, I also deal more with children. I've been writing for children for long years, and
Great.
telling them stories and running a library and all that. So these post-telling activities, I feel, is very important more than the pre. Because before the story, you tell them something they may or may not follow. But after the story has been told, something about that, just to see how much they have grasped, that is very important.
All
And
right.
for even for adults, sometimes I feel their mind starts wandering. So it's better to discuss the story with them after it's been told, so that it
Great.
stays with them. So these activities are more important, I feel.
Yes. Thank you, Indra, ma'am. Lalita, I noted 7 to 11. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else who would like to?
Yeah, I also have to know,
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
instead of just filling, say, an 1 hour session with just stories, so how can we lead the audience to the story, and how can we make the audience have the story in their mind when they leave? So that's why I'm looking so looking forward to this workshop to understand.
Perfect. Perfect.
Hi,
Thank you, Ambu.
Banu. I think,
Yes.
yeah, this is Lalita
I'm
from
sorry.
Hyderabad.
Hi,
Yeah,
Lalita.
I think all of them who spoke for me. Yeah, I am very. It's sometimes, when we go to do a story, there are certain stories with which I don't understand what we can do before or after. Before is okay. Sometimes we just do an icebreaker, but there are some stories uh, which confuse me. Like, there's no activity I can associate with it, so it becomes very difficult. But I also want to do the story, so
Hmm,
it's like very difficult then. So
happens.
yeah.
All right. We'll see how we
Hi,
get a
Banu.
solution for yours. Yes.
Hi, this is Pratigya here. Sorry, my video is off.
Hi, Prati.
What drew me to this workshop was your triple R. I was hoping for some music and dance which I can take along for the kids and go on with some fun. Looking forward to your workshop.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Kanaka Durga, can you repeat? Yeah. So, what is that you're looking for in this workshop? What brought you here? That's what basically. So, and what age group are you specifically looking for the activities for? That's what it is. Continue.
Okay, I'm just looking for the adults who are
All
more
right.
than 50 years.
For senior citizens. All right.
Yeah.
All
Also,
right.
some
Let's see.
sorry.
Hmm. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Also, sometimes there is a mixed group, right? Like there are very small children and there are little older children. Then it becomes very difficult to choose an activity. Uh, we cannot have an activity which will suit everybody. Then also it becomes difficult.
True.
I'm sorry, I'm just telling you what my problems are.
Yes, yes, yes. Please. That's why we are here. Each one of us, even I have some. So hope you people will be giving me the solution for those. Let us see how we go forward and find solutions for each of our challenges that we are facing every day in our
Thank you.
sessions. All right. So, anybody else, or shall we move on? All right. So, why this workshop? Why should we recall? Why should we reconnect or reflect or resonate? Why should we even do this? And why this activity specifically? Like each one of you, I also look for activities. I During my sessions, I've been conducting storytelling sessions every Saturday for 8 years when I was in Chennai. Week after week, I have to tell a story, and the same set of children will be coming. I cannot do the same activities also. Then children will end up saying, "Auntie, this we did last week, the previous week." So every week we have to, go innovative, creative, and have more activities. So if you are in that stage, so that's what here we are. And as storytellers, yes, story is very important. Story is the main focus. But only the story, sometimes it gets, distracted. Children get distracted and move away. When we tell the activities that we do, sometimes pre and mostly the post storytelling activities, will help the children to connect with the story very well and to take the story forward to maybe the least expectation of the parents of very young children would be to retell, when they reach home. So that case also, the activities would really help. And as we all know, we all like desserts, right? Don't we? We all like ice creams, whatever it is. Those days, it was only the plain vanilla we enjoy when we were all young. But these days, none of the child, even we are not ready to accept that. We need this little toppings, little sprinkles, nuts, something or the other, and extra syrups on it to make our ice cream taste even better. So this workshop, These activities are like the toppings on the ice cream, the story. So it adds flavor, it adds, you know, the details, and it helps to take the story forward in a more deeper and better way, is what I feel. So, and that's why this workshop is. All right. So, what are we going to deal with? First and foremost, like how I feel everyone are looking for the activities for a session, right? And none of us is, this will not help you, or this is not for a festival performance. Like in the morning, we had performances like continuously, 6 or 7 tellers. So there we are not going to use this. This is specifically only for the, like Ambu said, an hour long or a 90-minute session of storytelling for children or be it for adults for that matter. And we'll be sharing 20 plus activities for both young and adults listeners. And there'll be pre-activities and post-activities also. And like how Lalita was asking, there are certain stories that you really want to tell and you're unsure about what kind of activities that will suit this. So whatever we are going to share and discuss now, that you can customize it, and we can also discuss that details during the workshop. So this is the basic outline. Okay, to straight away jump into the young listeners activities, and that too free activities. Let me stop here and ask you to join me and do what I do, say what I say, or sing what I sing. Come on, everybody. Please turn your cameras on. Only then we come on, we are doing activities here. We can't do activities by having our videos off. Come on, everybody. 1, 2, 3, go. Stories, 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 stories. I can see your lips. Come on, sing. Please come here. Please come here. We love to listen. We love to listen. Please come here. Story, please come here. Story, please come here. Very good. Thank you for joining. Now, so put your left palm like this and your right on top. Can you sing with me? Are you all ready? 1, little, 2, little, 3, little fish. 4, little, 5, little, 6, little fish. 7, little, 8, little, 9, little fish. All swam in the river. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I got the fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go again. Why did you let it go? Because it bit my finger so. Which finger did it bite? This little finger on my right. Okay, I guess now you would have found out what story I'm going to share. Any idea? Can you
A story
unmute?
about a fish.
Very good. Lalita, let's give a big round of applause to Lalita. Very good listener you are. Come on. Okay. So there was this fish, which was not an ordinary fish, who lived in the deep, 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 deep waters. And that fish was called the rainbow fish. Why? Because it had all the scales with different, shining, shimmering colors. And all the fish friends asked, hey, give me one scale, please, one scale, please. But the rainbow fish was so proud. Huh? It's me, the rainbow fish. And I will not give you one. And from that day onwards, all the fish friends stopped talking to the rainbow fish. And the rainbow fish had no friends, no one to talk, no one to admire its colors, no one to say you're beautiful. So he felt very bad and he went to the starfish. Starfish, why nobody is talking to me? Or nobody is appreciating my beauty? Why? Why? What happened? The starfish said, you better go to the octopus who lives behind the coral reefs. He will be able to tell you the answer. And the starfish went away. Now the rainbow fish went to the octopus, and the octopus said, you have to share your scales. That's when whatever you ask will happen. Me? How can I? That was the question of rainbow fish. Just then, a small fish came and asked, rainbow fish, please don't get angry. Give me one tiny scale, please. You have so many. Can you give me one? No. One, please, please, please. Slowly, the rainbow fish picked one of its scale and gave it to the tiny fish. It got and stuck. So happy. Ah, so much. Thank you so much. Just then, the rainbow fish was surrounded by so many fish, and carefully, the rainbow fish gave one scale to each one of them. Yes, magic happened. Everybody got one, but the rainbow fish had only one scale, the shining, shimmering, beautiful scale on its body. But it was not the most beautiful fish in the ocean. He had friends instead. Everybody said thank you, and everybody got him to play with. So that is the end of the story. I know this is super fast, the shortest version of the rainbow fish. This is not a performance. And yes, what did you like in the story? Can you tell me what you liked in the story? Or what is your favorite character in the story that you like the most?
Okay, I like the simplicity of the story, and of course, the rainbow fish is my favorite character here.
Okay, why do you like that rainbow fish, Ambu?
For some reason, it sounds very cute. So though
Okay.
it's not giving before and then started giving. The transition it represents a nice, cute child like whom we come across very often during our sessions.
Okay, thank you. And what is it that you didn't like? Anybody could answer, and you can even type in the chat. We can add more sea animals in the story. All right, yes, we can. Um, what is that you didn't like in the story? Something that you did not like. Is there anything? Or part also, even a part of the story?
Is it necessary always to, give away things to make friends?
Hmm. Okay, so you didn't like that part. When I don't give something, I don't get friends. That part you didn't like. Okay, good. And have you heard any similar story?
Hmm.
Any story that is on similar line?
There's one rainbow crow, rainbow bird or rainbow crow story, right?
Yes, the rainbow crow is there.
Rainbow crows
African
in
folktale.
Africa.
Okay. So I guess that's just the
Indiraji is
opposite.
trying
Rainbow
Can
to
we
crow.
just
talk.
modify the
Banu?
story since Lalita mentioned that the rainbow fish gave away all its colors and then
Uh-huh.
it remained only with a single color. So
Mm-hmm.
probably we can modify the story also and say like it shared a bit of its colors and everybody was colorful, including the rainbow fish or something like that also.
Great. That sounds good. Indraji, do you want to share something?
Indraji, you are on mute.
Yeah, now she's on mute. Yes. Indraji, come on.
No, I'm reminded of that Ubuntu. Yes, in which they share and they feel so happy in sharing. So this Ubuntu is from somewhere in the African states, I think. So it's
Okay.
very common for children to share, and they said we cannot live without sharing. There's a particular a phrase that they use. I don't remember it. Which they say, if I mean, if we don't share, we cannot live, that kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. So this is for the older children, but this story can also be told to them about sharing.
Yeah.
That's one thing I really liked in the story, sharing.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Is there? Yes, Ambu. I'm sorry.
No. I was just resonating with what Lalita said. So if I say no, only if you give me a scale, I'll become your friend. Otherwise, I can't. So that even I think that shouldn't be the case. I have never thought what I don't like in the story before, but now that you asked, I was really looking for something, and then it's done.
Okay. All right. So the final question would be: is there anything that we learned from the story?
Actually, when I
Yes,
take sessions with the
Yes,
Amrita has
Amrita. Yes,
given it in
Amrita.
the chat. I am because
Amrita.
we are. That is the Ubuntu phrase.
That's right.
I never ask children what you learn from the story somehow. I always
Okay.
ask them, tell me about the story, whatever you want to tell. So,
Yeah.
they themselves, they are so used to that moral word and, we have to do this, we have to. So, like Banu, I also asked what you don't like about the story. And somehow I want to get it out of them rather than me telling the morals.
Perfect. Okay. So this is just a demo of what I do in my session. So can you, uh, from the starting point, can any one of you or everybody one point at a time, can you share what you observed as pre-story and post in the chat or unmute and speak? So this is one segment of a session, a complete session I would call pre-story and post. Entire thing I did now.
You
So
introduce the
if you have noticed,
character.
yes,
You
yes,
introduce the character of the story, the
yes.
with the song, and then you told the story, and then you asked what is it you like and what you don't like, and then you also said, is there anything you can take away from this story?
All right, perfect. Okay, what
Uh,
are your, yes, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, so also you included a little singing, some actions, some movement while you were introducing the character. So this is also what I observed.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, so let me share now. So what, these are the things that I want to share. The song which I sang was my signature song, which I used to do before every session of mine. Stories. So that I sing. So if you have a signature song to start your session, you might do that. And an action rhyme. So we sang a rhyme, one, two, three, four, five. So any rhyme can be lyric to match to your story that you want to share. Mostly there are nursery rhymes available these days for most of the stories. But just in case if you don't find one, you might create one using the simple tune. Na 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 na. So the tune is ready. See, a person like me, I'm not good at tunes. So I pick up the tune and if required, I add up lyrics. So many of you are good singers here and you people might use your own tune and lyric to sing an action song to make the children to get into that space to set them to get ready to listen to a story. Okay, so all these need not be done in in just one session. So each one can be, it's basically yours. Customize it however you want it. That's the basic idea here. So questions about the setting and characters. For example, if I was, asking only the questions. For example, the children are about 9 or 10-year old. So for them, we could ask questions like, "Have you been to a beach? Have you ever been to?" I guess someone's. Yeah, thank you. So, have you ever been to a beach? What are the sea animals like? How Lalita was adding. So, what are the sea animals that you have seen, and how you felt? So, those activities would make the children to get more into the story, also to make the children to speak. That is one of the very important aspect of storytelling, which would make the child to express from their self. And story bag is the next one. You might carry a bag and have so many materials inside, all your puppets and whatever things that you want related to that particular story, and pick out one after the other. And creating the curiosity is what the story bag would do, is what I feel. Like when you pick up one and you hold it inside still and then ask what it could be, because that is such a small thing that you hold inside your fist. So what is that? So story bag would also help you to introduce the story. Next is using an instrument. So many of us use different instruments during telling a story. Like I kind of use this one. So I use this drum and go with this. So I just at times start with this, this kind of an instrument where we can bring in the attention of the children. And the next one would be, yeah, riddles. So for this, can anyone tell me an instant riddle for this story, Rainbow Fish? A riddle, it could be anything that would lead to this story, the character or whatever it is. Any riddle that you that flashes in your mind? Come on, cook up. We're all tail spinners. Cook up your own riddle.
About the rainbow, like we say violet, indigo, blue, green, that way. Can you say it in the reverse? This order or that order, starting from violet, ending with red, or starting from red and ending with violet. Can they do it? Children,
Interesting.
they can try that.
Interesting. Interesting. I live in water. My name is with 5 letters. What am I? As simple as that for very, very young children. Yeah, as simple as that it could be. So for a minute you will get, each one jumping up to answer. So that is also one of the possibility or an activity to do. Another one is audience participation actions. So I said, right, keep your left palm down and then on top and then do the action. So whenever you speak the dialogues of the rainbow fish, you may ask them to act along with you throughout the story. So that will help you to get more into the story. I mean, to bring your children more into the story, and they'll be so focused listening to your story. So different actions, not only one, more than one action also can be taught. And when a bird, like how Lalita said, if you have the rainbow crow story, and when the rainbow crow is flying up and up and up to meet the sun god, you might ask the children to, fly up and up, and can you join? Let us fly together. So all these can be preset also. We do it when we tell the story along, when we are proceeding the story, we tell. But this can be done even before starting to tell the story. And the next one would be puppet partner. So this is a puppet which I recently made through a workshop which was conducted by Meera. So yeah, give us a second. We are going to come up. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the workshop. I was recently made by Banu. Hello, hello, Banu. Good to see you. I think I'm in the middle of a workshop right now. Oh, is it? That's why I too came to meet everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I understand you're so curious, but I would suggest you to wait for some time and I'll call you back. No, 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 you will say like that. But you know what? She will not call me at all. But I am here to. I know. She is here to tell you a story, and I know what story is also. I'm not here to tell them a story. Then so in this way, converse with the puppet and make that puppet to introduce the story. So in the middle also you might bring the puppet, and if they're all so talkative and something getting distracted, you might bring the puppet again. So that is one of the options that I want to suggest. And the final one is, here I really want you to tell me unique sentences to start the story. So can you tell me or write in the chat, what would be your first line? And since David Heatfield is here, welcome. Hi, David. I have seen him, and I was inspired by him to tell the place where the story is from, the origin of the story. He always used to carry a globe, a big size globe with him, and he used to point out which part of which part of country or which part of the world the story is from. So I used to tell that also, and we can even I've missed to add that in the list. Actually, if you want, you might add it. The origin of the story, and you might ask things related to that. For instance, if you're going to share a Japanese folk tale, and if you want to discuss about what is so special in Japan, or what do you know anything to that matter about Japan? So that can be, yeah, welcome. So it is, you might even ask questions to children what they know about Japan, and that's not any kind of question that you want to ask. Having said that, that would be the 10th one in my list. And let's go back to ninth one. So what are the various lines, the first liner of your story, other than your once upon a time, long time ago? Forget about that. So each one must be having a unique way to start your story. You all tell me, type in the chat or open your mic and say, then I'll share mine. So it'll definitely be a good database. Come on, everybody.
So I
Open
never
your
start
chat.
with once upon a time or long. Sometimes I start with just the situation. Like you in this story, we can just say Fishy was very sad. And do you know who Fishy was? He was a fish and not an ordinary fish. So something like that. So then they get
Perfect.
back to why Fishy was sad and what has the background of the story.
Well done, yeah. Well said. Would you like to know about the character or the setting or the plot? Yeah. When the world was new and still trying on its colors. Fantastic, Kara. Thank you. Interesting. Yes, when the world was new and still trying on its colors, there was a rainbow fish. Very nice. Okay. All right. So I would always start with once upon a time, not in your time, not in my time, but once upon a time, there was a deep, deep ocean where, and it goes on, like in this case of rainbow fish. One sunny morning. Okay, the weather based. All right, perfect. One rainy day, one cloudy day. Yeah. Let's wait for 10 more seconds. Let's see who else is ready to share. And quickly we'll move on to the
Because you spoke about puppets, sometimes I do some puppetry, so I usually start with a puppet. We play with a puppet. Like yesterday, we had a puppet who had cheesy feet, like his yeah. And then we discovered that he was wearing a sock that smelled, but he didn't want to get off the sock because it kept his mice warm. But no, then he said his feet warm, and then I really wanted to pull off the socks and said, I will give you a new pair of socks. And he said, no, they're not just my socks, they are my puppet friends, because those socks had eyes on them, for example, and they were chill and pill, and they were keeping his feet warm. But then when I sort of like told him, no, you have to get rid of this, he showed me that there are also mice living inside, and chill and pill get hungry and they eat this cheese, and that's why he has stinky feet probably. But it keeps his feet warm, it keeps the mice warm. And then we went on to talk about animal adaptation in winter and a story that was spun around it. So sometimes I start stories not with anything at all, but just with a puppet, and it just keeps going. They were cold, and how they came here, and how he gave them his house, and they keep his house now clean because they also eat the crumbs that's in his house, and he doesn't have to vacuum. So so we just don't have any beginning or anything like that. Just with a puppet, you can we build a story around that and go for the thing.
Perfect. Very nice. Thank you. And Indra says, shall we go to the sea? Yeah, we shall. Thank you. All right. So these are the suggestions from my side on the three storytelling activities with the 10th one added. Okay. So now to the post activities for the young listeners. Oops. Yeah. So the questions that I asked, what you liked, I call it Eric's questions, Eric's four questions, because I learned those questions from Eric when I did my workshop with him. So I want to call those as Eric's four questions. Even till today, I use these questions in almost every session of mine. Even with wherever I go, I make sure that I use this question. And like Lalita mentioned, I don't ask that, or none of the storytellers would ask, I guess, what is the moral of the story? None of us do. So, is there anything that we learn from this story? And children will shout out, no, nothing. So that means that child has really got what the story has to tell to that child. So that's what I call it as Eric's four questions. And those questions are here. So those can be open-ended questions, and we need not, judge or come to a conclusion on the answers. We have to let the child to let out or speak out from their heart, uh, whatever they want to share. So, what and which character or part of the story did the child like? So, if for very young children, yes, we may stop with what if they tell rainbow fish, like how Ambu said. I mean, uh, the rainbow fish. That's it. Enough. When we are looking at developing a child's language, the spoken especially, then we may ask why do they like. So that child has something to describe in his or her own language. So which would help the child to develop their spoken. And the second one would be what and whom did not like. So what is that the child did not like in the story? And any similar story and something that might even happen to them in their school. We don't know. It need not be a story which was heard or told. So that's why, do you know a similar story? Something that has happened also that they can share it here. So what is that you learn from the story, which is instead of the moral? So that is what is Eric's four questions are. And retelling the entire story. So you ask them once you're done with the story. We might ask the child, whoever is interested to tell the story, they will jump up with joy and they'll come forward. Few children, and they only a part or the first line or two lines only they'll be able to say. That's perfectly fine. That's why we have the second one. So the third one, yeah, sorry. The third one, which I learned was from Marion Kenny during a workshop when she conducted for the teachers. So you might ask three or four children to stand in a row. Okay, so that first child will start the story. Second child will tell the second part of the story. The third child the next part, and the next part and the final maybe. This can be, to make the child to feel free. We can ask the child to tell as much as the child can tell, or if wherever they stop, the other child should continue. Another way is you, as a storyteller or the leader there, you might ask the child to say, pause, and then the next child continues, and then pause, next child continues. And it might take even two or three rounds to complete a story. So, in that case, what happens is the child is not under pressure that he or she should complete the story fully. So more participation can be expected in that case. So children will be more comfortable to come forward. The children specifically who are with inhibition would really feel free to come forward and share whatever little part that they want to or they can share. They will be able to. The next one is the variation of the third one. For this, we have to work a bit, you know. So we have to make a story sequence. For many stories, the pictures are available online, or we could make our own. The third option is we could ask the children themselves to draw. If you have a 90-minute session, for an hour session, yes, pre-post we can complete. If it is a 90-minute session, in case, so a summer camp hall, what do we do? So we share a story and ask them to, this one we'll be doing it for the adults. We'll be discussing about it in detail. So we can ask that 8-part storytelling. So you might ask the students to take an A4 sheet and fold it and ask them to draw the different parts of the story from beginning to the end. So that would also help them. Or if we are providing the pictures of the sequence of the story, the first picture will be explained by one child or shared by one child, the second picture, third picture, and each of them will be sharing whatever is there in that image, what attracts them, what they see there. That is more than enough. So that is what the fourth one is all about. The fifth one is listen and act. So, which is nothing but, okay, let's go back to the story now. The rainbow fish. What were the characters? Come on, quickly.
The
There's
fishes,
rain.
starfish,
Yeah.
Starfish, the
The
tiny fish,
octopus,
the fish prince, octopus. Then,
the
Prophet,
rainbow fish,
the rainbow fish. Okay. So, come on, put your hands. This is rainbow fish. Come on, everybody. Rainbow fish. Okay. This is octopus, starfish, starfish. Okay. And the tiny fish, I don't know, maybe tiny fish. Lalita. Okay. Something all. Okay. So when I tell the name, okay, I'll follow the name and you'll have to do the action. Okay. Ready? Octopus, starfish, starfish, rainbow fish, small fish, small fish, octopus, rainbow fish, starfish, rainbow fish, starfish, small fish. Good. Good children, you all are. Okay. So this kind of action-based, they have to listen to the uh, uh, word that is being told, and they have to do the action based on that. So here the variation could be we can even play big fish, small fish game. Okay, and there is also tongue twisters that you can tell. So all those is flashing in my mind now that I'm sharing that I've not listed. So you may tell them ask them to tell tongue twisters, and so this action will be really interesting. It will definitely take up some time and make the children more active and joyful. The next one is most of us do role play. So role play plays a major role. They would be happy to come forward and act and tell. It would be even more better, according to me, if we have the dialogues told by each character. So each one should be acting out as a character, and instead of saying the rainbow fish did this, the rainbow fish did that, instead of the narration, always it is better. That's what role play itself is. But at the same time, most of the children land up in saying, narrating what they are the character is doing or what their role is. So instead, if we insist them to speak the dialogues, it will be even more helpful for them to get through the story and get into the emotions that's being shared in the story. So for them to undergo the emotions and experience that, so this will be very helpful. So role plays are very important and very much fun and joy. Okay, drawing, coloring.
Banu,
Yes,
could
yes,
I
Eric.
say a word about role play?
Yes, please, Eric.
Yes.
Most welcome.
Yesterday with Callian's group, I after someone told a story, after a young person told a story, I asked her if I could speak with one of the characters. And she said yes. And so I addressed, the king in the story, and she answered as the king. And I addressed the young woman in the story, and she answered as the young woman. And so it worked nicely. So that's a general technique of talking to a character in the story. Sometimes you can have a group of listeners interview or talk to one of the characters as role played by the storyteller.
Great. Thank you, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, really. Yeah. I guess this we have in the adult section. I will be sharing about this
Got the
as
hot
well.
seat.
Not an,
Got the
exactly,
hot.
Lalita. That's called as hot seat. Yes, we will be discussing about that as well. Thank you, Eric. Thank you for adding. And also, so this kind of mask or any coloring activity or drawing their favorite part of the story, favorite character of of the story. Also, since it's more of imagination and visualization, so in their imagination, in the listener's imagination, what was the character, how the character looked, what was the color of the character, what was the size or shape, whatever it could be. So free free drawing is one category. Another one is we giving something like this for them to take it away with them, and you make it into a mask by adding a little popsicle stick. So this also would be a better, activity. And next I have is the origami activity. So this is a cat origami. Uh, so these would help them to share the story as a puppet. So if we have two or more characters, we could make a couple of, you know, puppets or something like that. In this case, if possible, we could even make the cutouts of only four characters: the rainbow fish, the octopus, starfish. All these can be cut out, and we can attach a cardboard for the support and one popsicle stick. That would give them an entire set of puppets for the story. And this is another one, which is the headgear. Yeah, is it visible? Yeah, headgear of a tiger. So many templates are available online, which we could, print, because basically I am very bad at drawing. So I depend on the internet to download. Most of you are good at drawing, so you people can create your own and make it into a free size so that once you go there and you measure the child's head and attach it. Yeah. Am I missing anything? Let me check. Okay, so puppet making, I have given you many, options like headgear, mask, origami puppet, all those comes under puppet making. And the next one and the last one, both we'll discuss. Okay, alternate story endings. So we could ask the students to think of, this is for a 9 plus or so age group children, alternate story endings. If uh, see, like we discussed, why should we get friends only by giving things, or only if we share our things will we get friends? Someone might, like us who discussed, we don't want such friendship, we want true friends. Whether you give or not, we are friends. So that kind of the discussion can happen only when we give or ask the students or ask the children to tell what could be an alternate ending to the story that you have listened. Or maybe we might stop by the 90% of the story without reaching to the end and ask them, I stop here and tell me what are the possibilities? What do you think the rainbow fish should do? After knowing from the octopus that only and only if he shares he'll become happy, or he'll be getting friends. What should that rainbow fish do, or what would it do? It would have done. So what are the other options? Can you take a moment and think of it? Yes, Ambu.
Okay,
Ambu's
so
already
again,
ready.
I'm going back to the same discussion that we had. So I would suggest an ending like, okay, now the rainbow fish is ready to give away the scales. But when the friends come back again only for the scales, the rainbow fish says, no, 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 it's okay, fine. You can have my scales, but stay at a distance. And I will choose my friends who don't love me only for what I give.
Great. Okay, so as you started to share, this this thought came in me just now. Now that the rainbow fish was ready to give, okay? So upon listening to octopus, the revelation happened within the rainbow fish that I am ready to share my skills. A tiny fish comes and says, "Hi, rainbow fish." Rainbow fish was about to go take off his scales. "Shall we play?" the little fish asked. So when there is a change within the self happens, none of them asked ever for the scales from the rainbow fish. And the rainbow fish still stayed with its scales. That was the only beautiful or colorful fish in the ocean. Still, he had all the friends, everybody every day praising its beauty and color, but none of them asked for one. Oh my
I,
God.
I another ending. I thought the rainbow fish, okay, it was very reluctant to give its scales, and also as only by giving do I get friends. So the rainbow fish thought of another idea, and the rainbow fish set up a help center, and the rainbow fish announced that whoever wants any kind of help, I'm ready to help. So soon, all the fishes, when they were needed help with their homework, when they were the help needed for their drawing, for anything, they approached the rainbow fish, who helped them. And then they slowly started seeing the rainbow fish, the beauty within the rainbow fish. So rainbow fish was beautiful inside out, something like that.
Yes. Yes, Anis. Thank you,
I
Lalita.
would have said that probably when I realized that, I would go and say sorry. I can't share my skills because they're very special to me. Certain things you can't just share, but I can share something else with you if you all want my colors. I'm skilled. I'm an artist. I can paint really well. I can do watercolors. And he just gives them the technique of watercolors and paints and teaches them to paint so that everybody learns how to become colorful. So I would think like that. So yeah.
Wow. Fantastic. Yeah, that's a nice one. Yes, Amrita. Do you want to share something? Okay.
Yeah. So actually, when you were just saying to ask the children that if you have friends like that, where who are there only with you when you're sharing the scale, like your colors. Also, we can ask, are you a friend like that? Who would be a friend to someone who is just sharing, or would you just
Perfect.
selflessly be a friend? So just
Perfect.
a thought to
Fantastic.
share.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Nice, nice. Lot of options. Yeah. So the final one would be the story title. So you might want to ask the children, instead of revealing the title of the story in the beginning itself, this is a story about, and we just share the story, and towards the end, we shall ask each one of them to share a title. So how would you want to call this story as? And let it be theirs, like how it's open for the moral. Instead of moral, we ask something else. And in the same way, we could ask the title of the story. So that brings us to the end of the post storytelling activities for young listeners. All right, let us all grow and become adults now, from children to adults. Let us all close our eyes and take a deep breath in and breathe out. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Let us gently open our eyes when we feel comfortable. Thank you. There was a beautiful village where an old man used to tell stories under a tree every evening. The entire village would come and listen to his stories, and they all would feel so relaxed. They all would feel enlightened. They all would feel united. Each day, different story, different emotion, different takeaways. I think you heard me, all the villages, right? But not so. There was one man, one young man who didn't want to listen to the stories, who was not ready to listen to an old man sitting under a tree and sharing something, and every day people going and listening. He didn't want to. But the villagers, others, they all insisted him to come every single evening. But he would give some reason or the other, and he would never, ever, ever went. But one final day he wanted to go. Somehow he thought, let me go and see what that man is telling and why these people are so fond of him. And he went and sat. Just then the old man came out of his hut and he sat under the tree. By looking at that young man who had come finally to listen to him and called out, come here, can you please get me some water? And the man said, of course, yes. He went inside the hut of the man and he brought a glass of water. Come on, take it, the young man offered. Son, I asked you only for water. Yes, water only. Here, take. I asked you for water, only water. Yes, only water. See, water. I can see the water, but what is that outside? He asked. This is a glass. Without a glass, how can I bring the water? That's how, that's how, that is what the stories are. Without a container, how would I even tell truth? The truth is there inside, but there, there is a need for a container. Those are the stories that I use to make you people understand the truth of life. Thank you. And now I would like to invite one person to volunteer. Oh my God, all have gone with the video off. Come on. So, would anyone, Lalita, Anis, Hambo, who want to volunteer? Yes, Lalita Tilak is also here. I would like to have one of you first as a volunteer. Hello.
Yeah, what do you want me to do?
Yes, thank you. Ramya is also here. Okay, so can we have Lalita and Ramya on spotlight, please? Ramya, you can still be on
Oh,
mute, but I mean,
hold on. I have to switch
yeah,
on
yeah,
my camera. Just hold on.
yeah. Anis is also here. Yes, please spotlight them as well. Ramya and Anis can be spotlighted. Okay, so this is the activity that Eric was sharing, right? So that's what we are going to do now. This is called as spotlight. I mean, hotspot. Okay, who want to be the any character for that matter? It's not a role play. It's not a role play. Okay, so what is role play instance? You will be that character, but the others, for instance, Anis is a listener who want to ask questions to the protagonist or whoever the character is. What character have you chosen, Lalita? Whom do you want to be? You want to be anyone from the story?
Anyone is okay. Or whoever she wants
No,
to ask questions.
no. You choose who you are. That's why you
Okay.
are in hot seat. This
Okay.
activity is called hot seat. Yeah,
Mm, okay, I'll be the storyteller.
you will be the storyteller. Okay, Anis, you have uh, storyteller of the village. on hot seat. So if you have any questions, you might ask. And the others who are with your videos on mute, I mean the videos turned off, you might send your questions in the chat. So on your behalf, I'll ask the storyteller
Quick
and
question.
get you the answers.
Is it based on the story that you just shared?
I'm sorry?
Is it based on the story that you just shared?
Yes.
I might have missed a little bit of it because I went to attend the door. Somebody was at the doorbell, but I was there for the later
I
part.
can do it, Banu.
Okay.
Yes, Ramya, please. Thank you, Anis. No problem.
Sorry.
No problem. Anis,
Yeah.
Ramya,
Can we start?
just a moment. Let me spotlight. Eric, are you doing or you want me to do? Yeah, here she is.
So Lalita
Thank
is
you,
the
Ramya.
storyteller.
Yeah,
Huh?
you.
She's the narrator of the story, right? And I'm asking curious questions to the narrator. Right? Okay. So tell me, narrator, have you met this old man and this young man ever before, or you just made up the story? Have you met these people, narrator?
She is the old man in the story.
I think what I mean, I can answer that question also, but I think what Banu means is in the story there is a storyteller, right? The storyteller who is telling stories to the villagers, and
That's
these
the old man
villagers.
then. Then you're
Yeah,
the
I
old
am
man.
The
old
old man.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I got confused. That's what I said. Is she a narrator or the old man? Okay,
Okay,
the
old man.
Okay. So old man, were you a little offended that this young boy never came to listen to your stories?
No, I was not offended because I was very sure of myself, and I knew ultimately he will come and he will listen to the stories, and I knew that it is not very far away. He will come and he'll understand that stories are important.
Okay. But I like the idea of the stories being the container. How did you come up with that?
Because earlier also, like when I was young, when I heard stories from my grandfather, he also told me, like he asked me a very straight question about something, and when the truth came out, which was not pleasant, he told me the truth is always unpleasant and it has to be covered with something. And so he told me that you have to have a beautiful container. So, and that is why I came up with that, and I explained it to that person who's not ready to listen to stories, that the container is very important, and that is why stories are important.
That's very interesting. I have one last question for you. How now you become all old and wise, but how were you as a young boy? Were you a rebel? Were you conforming? How was you as a young boy? Now you're all old and wise.
I'm old. I don't know about wise. I was very naughty, and I was always jumping and here, there, everywhere, and that's how I collected the stories. And yeah, that is how I have so many stories in my bag. And every day, whatever stories I tell, it is about some adventure of mine, something I did in my life, the people I've met, the people who've come into my life, the people who've left me. Everything is a story, and that is the story.
And I will be very, very interested to listen to all your stories, dear storyteller. And thank you, Ramya, for joining
Thank you,
in.
Ramya. Thank you, Banu.
Fantastic. Beautiful questions.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. See, you say you're a very good storyteller. Why do you even have to ask the boy to bring a glass of water and then explain the container and then say the water is the message and the container is the story? When the boy has as well come to your story session, why don't you mesmerize him with your beautiful story instead?
If a person he is okay, yes, I can. I have been telling stories every day under the village in the village, and everybody is coming, and that boy has not been coming. So he is reluctant to listen to a story. So I have to tell him what a story is first. He is
Nothing
not come.
came for your session. that day. He was sitting there. Why do you even have to explain to him?
But then, as a storyteller, I know that he was present there, but he was absent. He was not listening to the story. He came there with an intent of testing me. He came there to understand why all these people are flocking here and listening to the stories, but he was not listening. And that is one very important thing as a storyteller. I notice who is listening and who is not listening.
Thank you. Fantastic, both of you. Thank you, Lalita. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so since we are running out of time, let me share the activities pre and post quickly. I guess most of you would be, yeah, here you go. Okay, adult listeners. So I've heard some people using the sounding bowl, dung, and just a calm, a feel we would get. And also like how I did inhale and exhale, that also. All these when you want the adult audience to calm down and listen to a story. In some places, you want to pep up the energy and sing and make them to energize. And there you might need some participation songs like, you know, many songs are there where you might, just like that, use and make them to ask them to participate and clap and just do things like that. And also like how we had in the beginning, um, I heard this from Pratigya. So for her story of stone soup, she would be asking questions. What are the weird, combination of food that you can think of? You know, so stone soup, so something which is not very common. So something like that to bring out the story. Of course, both for young listeners and here, we shouldn't give away the story. Okay, if you take Rainbow Fish also, do you like sharing? Then it's gone. The story is gone. So we're not here for that. Okay. So these are few activities for the adult listeners. And yeah. So again, for the post activities, one we demonstrated was hot seat. The first one is, as always, Eric's four questions. So what is one specific thing you liked about the story? The way it was told. Okay, so some people might use musical instruments, singing, and all that. So the way it was told also can be, shared. What is that one thing you found unsatisfying? And you might want to change anything in the story. Even children are good at doing that. This would, for few adult audience, it might be a healing process also if certain things are being changed for their comfort. And the third one is does that story remind you of any personal experience or any other story they have listened? And does this uh, story seem to teach any lesson? Instead of lesson, you could be, anything that they want to resolve with, you know. So that's what is called as Eric spoke questions in a deeper level. Hot seat we have seen, and storyboarding like we take an A4 sheet and make it into 8 parts, and we draw the story, and then we connect it to our life. So what is the setting we are in that particular situation that we want to overcome, that we want to heal and move forward? So that particular situation, characters, and the plot, what are the things that we have in our life that is supporting us to cope up with this situation that we are in? And the next one could be, the solution, and finally the ending. It could be a happy ending, obviously. That's what we are looking for always. So, and the next level of third one is like how we discussed for the young listeners, also having them telling the different endings. So now we shall have groups of adults to discuss about that ending. Why is that you feel like that? Why is that I feel like that? The more of that discussion can happen in groups. So since we don't have time, we are not going to do this in a breakout room activity, but because most of us are in, listening more than in doing more. So let's discuss it here itself and retelling the story from the character's perspective. A kind of hot seat, but we tell the entire story. Hot seat is from only one person's answers to the questions that the listeners have got. But this story, this character's perspective telling would be, more powerful than why I did what I did. So that kind of telling the story would get a deeper meaning or a deeper sense. And the next one would be the ending. Yes, however you want the story to end. So these are the few activities that I would want to share. And if you have anything more, both for adult or for the children, please type in the chat, which would be really helpful for all the participants and for me as well. So feel free to share. And yeah, we don't have action time now. Ah, we all
Banu,
did a great
Banu,
job.
I
Yes.
think I would like to participate in the break room. So can my view be something is blocking? I think so. I don't know. I'm not
Actually,
able to see myself.
Well, we only have
I
10
know.
minutes left.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Yeah.
well, let's make the best use of the 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we had all the sharings here. So thank you. So please share something that was, that you had. Many of us shared what you were looking for in the workshop beginning. So if you have any questions and or at the same time your takeaway from the workshop, both can be shared now. So what is the takeaway from this workshop of this 90 minutes? And also your questions if you have any.
David.
Hello, Banumathy. It's really good to be here. Sorry I haven't had my camera on. I've been busy getting ready for my day. Yeah, I love all these ideas. It's very close to my heart. These pre-storytelling and post-storytelling activities, and very suitable ones for younger people and for adults and teens. And there's just one thing I wanted to add um, to what you term Eric's 4 questions, which I think are excellent questions. And that is an idea I learned from a storytelling teacher trainer called Mario Rinvolucri many years ago. He called it revenge questions. And that is when you give students a long list of questions. Sometimes I have a list of as many as 28 questions. Sometimes I have it as 15 questions. Far too many. And they're questions which are open-ended, where there's no right or wrong answer, but they're inviting expression from the students. So it could be something like a moment in the story that's powerful in your imagination, or a sensation that you experienced in the story, or an association, or who in your family might enjoy listening to this story the most. Stories which appeal to different ways of perceiving the world. And it's called revenge questions because instead of the teacher or the storyteller choosing which questions the students answer, the students can choose 2 or 3 of those questions out of those 28 or 15 questions. They might just choose 2 or 3 to respond to and discuss in groups, or to write creatively in response to. So we're not imposing, as storytellers, how students respond and say, you have to answer this question. But the revenge is the students are selecting those ideas themselves. And I find it a very, very rich activity. And I'm curious because the most popular question that people, whether they're old or young, answer is the question, what colour was the story? So it's not a story that clearly has a right or wrong answer. It's all about association. And of course, different people have different responses, and it opens up a lot of dialogue and it gives a lot of insights, not just from the teacher or the storyteller into the participants' ways of thinking, but it also allows students to realize there are many ways of understanding the same story, and they can learn a lot from other people's interpretations. I hope that long turn makes sense.
Thank you. Very true. Very true. Very true. Thank you, David. Thank you for all that sharing. Great. All right. So we have 5 more minutes. If you have any thoughts, ideas that you want to share that's not being shared here, you're most
Hello.
welcome.
Sorry.
Yes,
Sorry.
man. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Sorry,
Go
Banu.
ahead.
I think I missed something. I mean, like when I see you mentioned Eric and all that, so I missed it. What do you mean by that? I mean, do you get it from Eric or?
Yes. I am a student of Eric. Uh, so when I was learning storytelling from Eric, so these were the questions that he insisted us to ask after telling a story to make
I see. Got
many
it.
many things happen. Yeah. So
You mean
these
this
are
Eric Miller?
yes, Dr.
Oh.
Eric Miller,
Okay.
the organizer of this festival.
Banu,
Yes,
can I
Eric.
suggest in the future you don't have to title them Eric's questions. You can just title them
Put Eric Miller.
questions to ask after
Of
storytelling.
course, of
Yeah.
course, of
Thank
course.
you, Eric. Thank you, Banu. All right, for
Thank
that.
you.
Banu,
Thank you.
a quick
Sure.
tip, Banu. I just want
Yes,
to
please.
ask you, sometimes the class can get very noisy and indisciplined when you're trying to do role play and all that. Because I do it for a class of about 40 children and I call just 3, 4 children. Every child is like, ma'am, 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 ma'am. So sometimes it's very difficult to execute role play. Any small tips for that?
Okay, does anyone got a tip here? Yes, Anis.
If you're doing role play, I would suggest, if you have props, then 3 characters play 1 role. So everybody's involved in a certain sense, that sort of helps. That's what I do if I have a lot of children. So I divide it, how many ever roles you have. There can be 5 kings. It's the same king. They're going to tell the same sentence, but it also helps them that they're not singled out. They're all the 5 are going to speak the same. So even if they forget their lines, they have it there, and so you do it that way, and that helps me.
I have a tip,
Thank you.
Lalita. I have a
Yeah.
tip, and it is very, very effective. Suppose the class is very noisy and nobody is listening to you. What you do is, if you're having any puppet, you as a storyteller, something you'll be having, right? What you do is, oh my God. In the road also, what happens when you suddenly look at some place, the passers-by, they stand and look at what you're looking. So children are also humans. What you have to do is look at the door of the class and make your face so interesting. You have seen something fantabulous, and you talk to that parrot or whatever you have in your hand. It is 100% this tip for you. They will immediately keep quiet and they will be drawn to what you're seeing. And now that you have that window of attention, you use it. This is a thing you can do.
Yeah, Shama, thank you. Actually, more than the telling session, its activities sometimes can get very noisy because every child
Noisy,
wants to
yeah.
participate and sometimes you're not
Yeah.
able to. So at least during the story session, it's interactive and the children are engaged. But it's the activities sometimes where you're not able to do justice to all the kids. That's why. Thank you,
Yes,
Shama. Thank
quickly
you,
your
Anis.
feedback. Thank you. Quickly your feedback, please. We have 2 minutes.
I'll
you,
just
Banu.
respond to that as well. Can I just respond to that idea as well of managing large groups of very excited young people? And I would often get kids in pairs doing a role play all at the same time, but it needs to be very clearly set up, doesn't it, Banu? And often we might need to model it. So the teacher and one confident student, one confident child, we might do the role play in front of the whole group, and then not saying this is the right way, but this is one way of doing it. Then all the kids are doing it in pairs, and then some of the pairs who choose to might then perform what they've done spontaneously in pairs. They might then redo that in front of the group, so they've already built up that confidence. And the role of the kids who are watching that pair is to give them positive feedback, things that worked in their role play. So they've got a reason to listen and engage, and they notice that they're getting positive responses from their peers, and getting positive feedback from their peers, from other kids in the group, is as valuable, if not more valuable, than feedback from their teacher, because their sense of their confidence grows and they can really bloom. So role play for me is absolutely at the heart of storytelling and response.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
All right. So I'm available online. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks. A big thank you to Eric for having us and continuously organizing this for the 30th year. Yay! And thanks to each one of you for being here, trusting us. And we hope that the learning was mutual from you to me and me to you. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Banu. It was a great workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Banu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Banu.